Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this time around we are leaving Paris and we are heading to one of my favorite city in Europe, that is Lyon. So this time we have chosen to stay at the Mercure, which is right in the center of the Lyon town center. It has a really nice street view, so location is perfect because it's right in the center of the city. And the room that we chose has like a little balcony, so you can stand there and just people watch or just absorb in all the beauty of the architecture that the city has to offer, which was really nice. And I also noticed that as I get older, I tend to prefer hotels over Airbnb a lot more because there's always someone at the front desk um, to offer any assistance that you need, and it's not overly expensive compared to Airbnb. So Lyon is famous for their food scene. It's the gastronomical center of France. That's what I heard anyway. Um, so despite the size of this town, it has one of the highest number of Michelin star restaurants or just really nice bakeries around it. So this is in one of the old town square. So we just got like some hot mild wine and decided to do a little hike, which was a terrible idea. By the time we get up to the top of the mountain, we were all sweaty and stuff. And this is just at one of the old church in Lyon. I believe it's a Gothic style church, which was very impressive to look at in person. And here you can see some of the interior of it, like the sheer size of it is just mammoth. Like you have to be there in person to just absorb in all the beauty. And here we are just having some pastry while sitting at one of the old ruin, which is not far from the church. And here we have some champagne and some nice pastry while spending the time in the hotel room. So I really enjoy Europe in the time of like October to November. So it is kind of like cold, but it's not unbearable, and you can really see a lot of like the Christmas markets, like the Christmas night markets and stuff. So you can feel like it's almost Christmas, but without having to bear the cold. So lots of like mulled wine and mulled cider, and just yeah, really fun. Lots of food. And here's the favorite food of mine of that night in Lyon, which is some sort of like melted truffle cheese with bacon and potato and cream of something. I can't remember the actual name of it, but it's probably one of the heaviest food I've ever had in my entire life. But it is so delicious. And surprisingly, you don't see a lot of like obese people in France, despite like the heavy food that they eat. So I really think it's the nature of the food they have, like it's all natural, and there's not a lot of like artificial additive to it. I don't know, but yeah, so delicious, but no one is fat. And the next day, we decided to try out some restaurant that's highly recommended It's called the Poison Blue or something. So one other thing I also noticed is that they do this really nice thing where you can get like a set menu for not expensive prices, and they are some of the best meal I've ever had in my entire life. Like when they come out, it doesn't look like there's a lot of food, but by the end of it, because you have it with like the bread that just keep topping up, and then you have your entree, main, and dessert, so it is surprisingly so filling. And this is one of the local cuisine that we try. I can't remember the name of it, but it's only found in Lyon, and it's some of the heaviest food that I had. And this is the baked bread in like heavy cream thing. Like we went in with like jacket and stuff, and by the end of the dinner service, we have to take everything off because we were like overheating because of all the food that we had. So delicious. Would I do it again? Probably not. And here's some of the people dancing on the street before we end the night. I noticed that in my video is mostly me just filming like the food. I think that's because food really just make me happy, either like looking at them or like eating them. And that's it. I wish I spent a bit more time in Lyon, but it's time to head home. So we are flying Lufthansa. So from Lufthansa, sorry, from Lyon to back to Frankfurt, and then at Frankfurt we'll take another flight to Singapore and then to KL. If you are not aware of this, flying out of KL is actually one of the cheaper option, even though like you have to add in an additional leg to Singapore. So yeah, for those of you like thinking to go to Europe, if you're based in Asia or in Australia, for example, come to Asia first, like Singapore, not Singapore, because it's quite expensive to fly out of Singapore. But if you fly out of Malaysia or like other city like Bangkok, it's actually a lot cheaper. And because of the status of my Star Alliance, so even though we're only flying economy, we get to use the lounges, which was a godsend because as we were doing all this transit, there's a place for us to have some food, have some wine, and just have a shower to freshen up before we get on to the next plane. It makes a whole lot of difference. That's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.